Hola from the west side. It is me, DC the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Sunday, y'all. Let me just turn my volume down on my other device and let me share myself out real quick. Let me just do that. All right, I'm gonna share myself out. Ask y'all to come on through and chat. I know there are a lot of lives going on right now. There's a lot going on. And hey, I'm not with the drama, so of course, we're gonna keep it on the chill side over here. But I wanted to kind of start out tonight, just talking about as soon as my son finishes getting his eye shawl, because I'm now live, this is the moment that he decides he needs to get some ice. But I wanted to start out today just kind of talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's untimely death and really how that's affecting things going forward. Now, whether you liked or disliked the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg, you got to respect the kind of woman she was. Um, because despite, all of the things that we see in regards to her and how she did so much to really help with equality, she was not what you would really consider an actual feminist. And when I say that, I'm saying it from the perspective of, if you really look at her full story, um, she was a traditional wife, but her and her husband were a team, you know, and he wasn't forcing her to be into that traditional role, although she did do the traditional role. But they joked about things like she wasn't the best cook in the world, you know. Um, but she has left a vacancy at the end of a presidency. And I want us to go back and think about when Mr. Obama was getting out of office and how no one, I mean, they absolutely were against him putting this person in because he was going out of office and there was no guarantee that the next person coming in was going to be a Democrat. Okay, but in this situation, I feel like the Republicans are playing it differently because it's really the same situation. We don't know that Mr. Trump is going to win in November. So he is basically about to do the same thing that 44 was not allowed to do, which is to hurry and get somebody in that office of this last of this justice, in case he's not reelected. And because it is a Republican, you know, majority of the Senate, excuse me, guys, let me drink some water. Okay, because it is a Republican run Senate, they're going to let it happen. Now, he already has people in place, already had some names, you know, And I'm not saying that they were thinking she was going to die, because this woman had beat cancer several times before. But the difference between this run of cancer and her previous runs of cancer was that her husband was there with her. And then keep in mind also that she also was there for him, because if you watched the story about them, he, you know, had testicular cancer early in their marriage before they had their second child. Obviously, it was cured because they had another child after that. Um, but I think her husband not being there with her may have been, part of it. And pancreatic cancer is tough. I mean, she fought it for a long time. That is what my own mother had, and she was gone in less than 2 months of being diagnosed of it that we know of. Because see, we don't know that my mom may have known she had it, and we just didn't know. But with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's going to be very scary, because he's not going to put someone in there that's like her. They're saying that he is going to bring in a woman, but what kind of woman is he going to bring in? What kind of values is that woman going to have? Is she going to be one who is more of a traditionalist, who, you know, is she going to be a free thinker? But it sounds like he's going to put someone in there conservative. So if he brings a woman in there, it's going to be a conservative woman. And I don't know how many conservative women judges do we know out there right now. I'll wait. I'll wait. You know, I can't think of many. I'm going to be interested to see this list that he's going to be putting forward. And this process is going to start before, you know, there's a presidential debate. Thank God they're going to actually do those. Because at first they weren't even going to do any presidential debates, which I thought was idiotic. But he's going to start this process. And because of her dying, there are so many people who I hope were thinking about not voting, they now understand that they really do need to vote. Because here's the thing: regardless of whether 45 makes the choice and gets a justice in there, if he is elected, reelected, shall we say, it's gonna be kind of crazy, you know. And I don't know if it's gonna be better with the opposition. I'm gonna be totally honest with you on that. I don't know, but I do know that the untimely death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg may have changed the trajectory in this presidential election. It just may have. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I know that a lot was being said in regards to her over the weekend. Now, I've been hanging out. Hey, Joe. I've been hanging out in these YouTube streets, y'all. And though I hang out in black spaces, so to speak. I'm not actually in quote unquote the black YouTube algorithm. But because I go to those spaces, I do get, things from spaces I don't go into. So I've been seeing all kinds of crazy titles to videos over the last couple of days. One content creator, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't follow them, but they did a couple of YouTube panels about child support and about the women shouldn't be pointing their fingers at the men to get the child support. Hey, Terry. Man, Terry. I was in the clouds. Hey, 1SP. I was in the clouds on a another content creator who I actually supports um live after I got out of femininity overload live because I was like, okay, what the heck is she talking about? And I'm not even gonna go into it, but I found out what they were talking about, and you know, I hope that people are not out here just running their mouths and just talking this stuff because really that whole situation that's being discussed shouldn't even be being discussed on YouTube. It shouldn't. Hence, I'm not going to discuss it. Yeah, exactly. See, here's my thing with child support. Okay, being someone who didn't get it. Well, I got it. I got a little bit of it, but I didn't really get it. I didn't really get it. And technically, I could still be getting it because of my son being disabled. Yeah, they extended out to the age of 25. He's not even 25 yet. But I digress. But dealing with the child support thing, I don't. I do not understand how some men who willingly make babies. Now I'm not talking about these dudes who get trapped, you know, with women putting babies on them, but I'm talking about babies that are made in marriage or in long-term relationships. And then you guys break up, get divorced, whatever, and then whichever parent, because sometimes it is the female that is paying the child support, whichever parent is being asked to pay the child support doesn't want to pay it. Exactly, Joe. They not paying no child support. But you on here talking about people going after people for child support. You know, and let me just say that in most situations, that child support, it's not this $1,000. I don't know who these women are getting that kind of money in child support. Because in the state of California, the state I live in, they do this thing called a decometer to determine the child support. And the child support is based on, both parents' income, and if the parent who is asking who's going to be getting the child support, if they own a home, it's counted against them. You don't get a whole bunch of child support if you if you can take care of yourself, you know, it's not a lot. It really isn't. I mean, I know people who get, the joke child support, the $40 a month child support. Yeah, I know people who get that. But yeah, it's been wild on YouTube in the last couple of days. It's been a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. Um, people putting up videos about stuff, taking videos down, putting up new videos. I'm like, why do people put up videos and then take them down? Why do you do lives and then take it down? I don't even understand the purpose of that. I mean, one live was literally taken down in the middle of me listening to it because I had missed it. So I'm trying to listen to it. They take it down in the middle of me trying to listen to it. I'm like, well, I'll be damned. I'm like, why? I mean, if you're not gonna keep it up, don't. Why y'all doing the live? And then it's crazy. And then people are going back and forth on this colorist BS. A 2-year-old, $3,500. Were you paying? Were you? You must have been paying the child care too, because my son was older than that. He was school age when his father and I got a divorce, and so he was not in child care. And because I owned a house, even though he has a disability, it it, it wasn't a lot of child support. And his father still complained about that and wouldn't pay that. So Stephanie the third. Well, what 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 the courts said in my case was less than $500 a month for a child on the autism spectrum. So yeah. So these people who are getting all this money, I don't know what they're doing, but they probably are not, you know, it's not the same kind of situation. And I mean, and here's the thing, it's not like his dad was rich or anything. So it wasn't like I was expecting that kind of money anyway. But I know in situations where these guys are making less than that, you know, making half of what my ex was making at the time, and somehow these chicks be getting a $900 check a month. I'm like, what? What? How are y'all getting those crazy checks? Yeah, and I'm layout. With my son, his dad. He may not have been giving me the money, but he did not. He did keep his son on his medical insurance because he had really good medical insurance. And even now, it's cheaper for him to put my son on insurance for him than it would be for me. But right now, my son is, he has Medi-Cal. But we're right now reevaluating that because he can be on somebody else's insurance until he's 26. So we're thinking to put him back on one of our insurances next year. But I just found it just funny that these people were up there having this panel about child support, and they had a part one and part two. And then we go to the ugliness that's been going on in the YouTube streets. I mean, you got stuff going on in Black Beast Sector 1 and Black Beast Sector 2. I call that because it's stuff going on all over the place. People are some of this stuff is starting to go off of YouTube. Do you understand what I'm saying? they are taking this stuff off of YouTube. Off of YouTube. And then, you know, I mean, the people making up and then getting back in a beef with somebody this week, and last week they were making up with them. That's what I'm seeing in some of these situations. It's like they're they're all together for 5 minutes, and then they're not together at 5 minutes later. And unfortunately, in most of the situations, it's women, it's Black women, you know. And then, you know, people are talking about whether there is or is not a sisterhood on YouTube. Well, here's my thing. It's hard to be. How can you be in a sisterhood with you know, with people that you don't really know? It's really association on this platform. Hi, Mechanized Shake. Are you a troll? Because if you're trolling, watch it, dude or woman, whichever it is you are. Watch it, okay? Don't come up in a woman's. Do not come up in a woman's chat and say crazy stuff. I've had men say that. I've had trolls come into my chat already and try to say crazy stuff that I was a female and I was cammed up, and I wasn't. You know, that I wasn't a female and I was cammed up. I'm not worried about y'all. I know I'm female. And that person y'all hear in the background, yeah, I had him. Natural. 10 pounds, almost 25 years ago. And I still got all my natural parts too. I ain't had no implants in the front or in the back. I'm a skinny girl. It is what it is. But I do have hips. And I do have curves. You know? But I am, yeah, I'm like, I'm over a certain age. So, whatever. Yeah, natural childbirth, exactly. Exactly, yeah. My son was a 10-pounder. But I was not, first of all, I had already checked with my doctors before I had my son to make sure that I was not a C-section candidate, because I knew that we had big babies in my family. And I was told that I did not have to worry about that. My only issue was going to be how much pain I could deal with. When I saw the videos about the epidural, there was nothing in this world that was going to make me ask them for that big needle, because I have already had scoliosis. I didn't need nothing messing my back up anymore. I was good. And I did not have back labor. So therefore, although my labor was intense, it hurt like hell. I'm told that what I felt was nothing compared to women who actually have back labor. But yeah, I dealt with it. I think I finally asked them for some I think they may have given me something else for the pain, and it was like a gnat passing by. So I just said forget it. Cuz it literally lasted for 2 seconds. For 2 seconds it took the edge off. 2 seconds it took the edge off. And I was like, oh, y'all can keep that mess. That's not helping me any. I'll just have to deal with it. But it hurt. Yeah. Yeah, it is the EBT Section 8 sector. But it's just crazy. I'm not in the algorithm for them. My content's about autism. And live streams don't fall into anybody's algorithm. Mine don't. Because I don't I don't give them no crazy ass titles. It's just not so random chat. And whatever we're talking about, we're talking about. Every once in a while, I may put a title on it, like when we were talking about Tamar, or when we were talking about Kamala Harris being black or not black. Yeah, but normally, yeah, I'm not doing no clickbait for no live stream. It's not even worth it. Yeah, my son was the biggest baby the day that he was born at that hospital. Cause yeah, was he the only? There might have been, yeah, there was probably maybe one other black baby, but he was the biggest baby period born that day. We were all shocked when this big ass baby came out, y'all. I knew he was going to be big. That's not the case. That's not what was surprising. I didn't think he was. I thought he was going to be like, close to 9 pounds. I didn't think he was going to be like 10 pounds. Yeah, so he was bigger than we thought he was going to be. He was like the size of, some 1-month-olds. And I think that was probably made it easier, for his dad, because he could handle him. We didn't have a tiny baby. He was quote unquote overdue based on when they thought he was going to come. But he came 2 days before Halloween, because we don't do Halloween babies here. They thought they were going to have to induce labor. And I told them that if he didn't come that weekend, they were going to have to wait till November. He was going to have to come on November 1st. If they were going to induce, they were going to have to induce on November 1st, because I wasn't having a Halloween baby. I was straight up serious about that, y'all. But you volunteer for the Commonwealth. Oh, you volunteer. And see that, and the thing is that I know that there are situations where the child support situation is friendly. They've all agreed to it, and they've agreed to do it through the courts and everything. And and contrary to popular belief, most of the black men that I know pay their damn child support and paid it. I just happen to have, my ex just happens to be one of the ones who just didn't do it. But that's on him. That's on him. You know, and as there is no statute of limitation on child support, the sad thing is that I could go after him at any time on my son's behalf and make him pay that money. But it's like, if I have to force you to do stuff for your own child, for your only child, the only child you have, that's on him as a man. But you want to get, because you overpaid probably. Well, I know, like, a friend of mine and his wife, they had gone and had done the child support and everything, and then they wound up getting back together and didn't get divorced at that time, and ended up having a third child. But he kept the child support thing agreement in place for their older two children, and never took himself off of it, even though they got back together. And then they eventually got a divorce. And then she remarried another man. Oh, and now she's married to a woman. And the friend that I'm talking about is would have been Niecy Nash's first husband. That was the kind of relation. That was the arrangement that they had. She had put him on child support because they had split up and were about to get a divorce for their first two children. Then they ended up getting back together, and he decided to not take himself off of child support for the first two kids. And they had a third child, and they literally stayed married for over 10 years after that. I mean, because I think by the time they did get a divorce, their kids were teenagers. And all of their kids are grown now. And I still have not talked to him because I am dying to know how he feels about the mother of his children, who still uses his last name, because Nash is his last name, who's now married to a woman. You know, I just wonder how he feels about that, because I watched him, go from being being an entertainer guy, and being a gospel choir, you know worship leader and all that stuff, to all the way to being a minister and everything. And he's still a pastor. I know you have to have the mindset, and that's the thing. It's just like, I don't know what he thought. I don't know what these men think that some women do with this money. I'm just gonna say, in my personal opinion, any money that came to me for my son, I would just put it in my son's account, and then we would use it when we could use it, because until my son was 18, he didn't have his Social Security. Once he started getting his Social Security, now he has money of his own coming in, but technically he's due a whole bunch of money in child support from his dad. I mean, I'm just not. I just don't want to go through all the drama. Don't even, because I know that God is going to provide. Is going to provide. You know. But when you are in a situation, see, children that are born in a marriage or a relationship where the parents are together, and when the child support comes in those situations, it shouldn't even be any question. Now, I understand about these situations where men feel like they were trapped, but still, it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's fault. And also, you could have put a condom on. Because in most of these situations where these men are so-called trapped, it's because they're thinking that the female, You know, the woman might have told them that she was protected, or they just want to feel what it feels like without putting on a condom, or their withdrawal game is not good. Whatever the case may be, you still played a part in that baby getting here. And if you don't want to be with the woman, that's fine, you know. But at least take care of your kid. Even if you don't want to be in that child's life, you still should financially take help take care of that child. Exactly. Just keep your pants on, and if you're not going to keep your pants on, make sure you use a condom. Make sure you use two. How about that? You know, because babies happen, and they usually happen when you're not trying to make them happen. Thankfully, I'm no longer in that age range. I don't have to worry about no babies. I don't have to worry about no man trying to trap me by getting me pregnant. Okay, you know, because see, it's not just women trying to trap men with that type of situation. There are men who will try to trap women into staying with them by trying to get them pregnant. I know, because I had some fools try to do that to me. It wasn't happening. Was not happening. Yeah, and still use a condom. Uh, I forgot. Oh, the oven's turning itself off. Yeah, well, like when I was married, I wanted a lot of kids, y'all. I did. I wanted a bunch of kids. However, the person that I was with, I don't think he wanted any kids. And then it came about that I wasn't getting pregnant. So we had to figure out what was the problem. I was not the problem. But then after I had our one child, he started tripping. And he didn't he decided he didn't want no more kids. It was not a decision between the two of us. And I was on nothing. So he, you know, if I'd have got pregnant, I would have just got pregnant. Thankfully, I did not get pregnant before we split up, especially because, as I've told you guys before, this man put his hands on me. And DC is not a punk, okay? So I am the type of woman that if you put your hands on me, I am going to fight back. So, yeah. And I didn't want my son growing up in that type of situation, you know. And considering that one of those dust ups had me going to work with sunglasses on and having to stay in my office with the door closed all day and having to explain that to the senior vice president because I was in upper management, I was like an AVP. Yeah. I was good, y'all. DC was good. And that's why she is no longer and that's why she is no longer married to her son's father, and that's why she is with someone else. And let me just say to y'all, other men that I've been with do not put their hands on me. The only other man who tried to do that was before my ex-husband, and I pulled out a full butcher knife on him and was going to, yeah. told him to get the F out, and we were done. And we were done. And when my ex-husband did this stuff, he knew that I was that was how you get rid of me. Kid or no kid. You obviously didn't want to be with me no more. And you did it in front of your child. And our son did not understand what it was. He thought we were playing. You know, I mean, I'm not a little girl, but I happen to like big men, like football player size men. So you do the math. You know, which is why I'm like, I wasn't surprised when he didn't want to pay the child support. It just showed me who he was. Just showed me who he was. You know? And in his eyes, and I'm just telling y'all, in his eyes, he thought that by not assisting with anything with his son financially, and by putting all of that burden on me as his mother, you know, that would kind of like mess up me being able to move on and be in another relationship after him. Child support is not everyone. I know. I know. But what I'm saying is that yeah, child support is not for everyone. But in my situation, my son was entitled to it. He's still entitled to it. I just am not the type of person that I'm going to be running you down for what you're supposed to do for your son, because I already know that we're going to be taken care of. You know, and not to mention the fact that, you know, your people might think that you have taken care of your son, but my people, meaning my family, they know that he's never done that. And I have never denied him seeing his kid, because you guys know that lots of times he'll be off with his son. You know, my son, you know, before all this COVID and stuff, my son would be with his dad. So, you know, but I'm just a different type of woman too. So I just didn't feel like going through all that mess with him. You know, because I knew that anything that he didn't do for his son, the one up above was going to take care of it. Because there's things that he's had to deal with financially because he didn't take care of his son. And I know why they happen. He knows why they happen too. It's all good. You know? But, you know, I'm not, you know, but dudes that don't even pay their own child support, getting on it complaining about, you know, women who are going after men who don't pay their child support, it's just kind of hypocritical to me. One SP, if he were that financially astute, that would be fine. The money was never for me, so I never cared about it for me. I cared about it for my son, because as I said, what he did give me, my son had his own bank account. He had his own bank account. He could have just put it in his bank account. He never had to ever give the money to me. I had it set up so that he could do it that way. He just didn't want to. But if he has some trust fund that comes out that's there for him, that's fine. I know he has a life insurance policy that my son is the beneficiary of. And I know that he put a life insurance policy on my son as an adult. I put a life insurance policy on our son when he was a child. So if he got a trust fund somewhere for him, great, but I doubt it. you know. And if he's got something that he can leave to our son, that's great. That's great. Because I'm not even, y'all know, like, what have I told y'all about what I'm going to do for this, with the YouTube channel? I'm trying to get the YouTube channel monetized, and any little bit of money that comes from YouTube, that's for my kid, for my son, because that's just how I am, so I don't have anything against his dad and everything. I just don't respect him not doing that for our son. You know what I mean? That's all. But you know, our son is our legacy, and because we have a son together, we do have to have some contact with each other. He said, I don't like when a woman holds kids hostage because a man doesn't want any more other women. Nah. Well, see, that's not even the situation here. I've never held his son hostage. He can see his son whenever he wants. And I did not want to be with him anymore. But I've never stopped him from being a father to his son. I moved on. I'm with someone else. I don't know if he's with someone else. I don't care. But he's always had access to a son. His son's my son David has his own phone. His father can call him anytime he wants to. You know what I mean? And now that he's an adult, really, he don't have to ask my permission to spend time with him. He just needs to let me know if he's coming to my house. Because this is my house. And that's the respectful thing to do. Oh, his dad, he works for Water and Power, their credit union. He's doing the same thing he did for a living when I met him. In the exact same position. He had another position. He used to also work for FedEx. He doesn't work for them anymore. But his primary job, same thing. He works in the mail services division of their. I think he's a manager there. Nah, he ain't that old. My ex-husband isn't that old. He's not that much older than me. Shoot, how old do you think I am? I mean, how old do you think somebody I would deal with? I've never dealt with anybody who's that much older than me. So he's not old enough to retire yet. And he's not, and see, like, you were able to retire from the military and just retire. Yeah, he's not in that type of career. He got to wait until he's old enough to actually age retire. That's what he's going to have to do. I know, but you retired from the military. Some people are able to retire earlier. He's not one of those people. You know, I would like to be able to retire from what I'm doing. I would like to be able to just be able to be a full-time writer. But I'm not there yet. And, you know, I'm also doing, y'all know I'm doing this acting thing now. I'm trying to hey, if I could make enough money from doing acting that I didn't have to work a full-time job, I'd do it. Along with my writing.
Why do you keep taking?
But yeah, a lot of people want to retire by 50. I'm not one of them who was able to do that. And people who are able to retire before the age of 40 or 50, that's great. And I tell people that are around today, that's what you need to be shooting for, not working for someone else by the time you're a certain age and being able to do what you want to do, work if you want to work. I would like to be in that position, to work if I want to work, but I'm not there yet. But I'm getting there. You know, once I get to the point where I can work if I want to work, I'm gonna do just that, work if I want to work. That's why I'm always working on multiple streams of income, so that I have enough multiple streams of income so that I will be able to get rid of my one that I have to actually work for. You want the house to yourself? You want to be an empty nester? Yeah, I'm never going to be an empty nester unless my son, moves out. I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm never going to be empty nester because I believe that at some point in the future, David is not going to want to live with mom, and David is going to move out. You know, and when that point comes, then I guess I will be an empty nester. I know, like most of my friends are now becoming empty nesters and everything, because, like my best friend, she has 6 kids, and 3 are married, and the 4th one just got engaged, and so which means he's going to be married within the year. So then she's only going to have 2 of 6 kids still at home, and her kids are stair steps, like every 2 years. I mean, so her youngest kid is literally in college right now. He's about to graduate. Yep, her youngest one is about to graduate. That's the one whose birthday is the same day as my son's, just different years. And then, yeah, all of my friends kick it because most of my friends, their kids are like either in the same age range as my son or older. So a lot of my friends are becoming empty nesters. But we're all, because we had our kids in different age ranges. Some of my friends became empty nesters in their 40s, and then some of us started becoming empty nesters in our 50s. Like if my son was not on the autism spectrum, I would already be an empty nester because he's going to be 25. You know, but then too, a lot of kids nowadays, they don't leave home after they go to college. They come back home, and then they don't leave home until they get married. Because like with my best friend, her 6 kids, not they're literally not leaving home until they get married. That's when they move out. That's when she moved out. She moved out when she got married. Not me. I went away to college and I never moved back home. My parents moved to where I was, and my entire family lived in this state, you know. And my mom moved in with me, you know. But when I left home, I left home. I was done. I was I was not I was never gonna move back in with one of my parents. But that's not how the kids are today. Kids today, they go back home when they get out of college. They go back home. Oh, you'd like to do small contracts in Europe and in South America? South America. Yeah. You guys, I was looking up something, and I know I'm almost at my hour, but I was looking up something in regards to slavery. And do you know that that slavery, although we think that we had slavery going on for the longest here in the US, when you look at slavery across the North America and South America, um, slavery lasted longer in other countries like Brazil. There were some countries down in South America where it lasted for longer. But you know, Africans were everywhere. Canada, United States, Mexico, Central America, and South America, and some of those other countries had slavery for the longest. The one that had slavery for the least amount of time, Haiti. But yeah, and this is the reason why some of the other members of the ADOS look at us sideways when we speak about our suffering here, because although we have had to deal with a lot of stuff here that still was reminiscent of the days of slavery after slavery was quote unquote abolished here in the United States. Others in the ADOS had to endure slavery in some of these other countries for longer. But what I did notice is that in many of the South American countries outside of, say, Brazil and Colombia, a lot of them, the Africans that came into those countries into slavery, they basically mixed and kept breeding and breeding and breeding until their numbers are very, very small in most of the other South American countries. I don't know, but when he said that, it just made me think about that when he said South America. But I know I'm at my hour, and I will be back on tomorrow. Let me come on camera so you guys can see me. No makeup. My hair is up on top of my head. Hold on. Let me see. Is the camera gonna come on? The camera is acting really, really weird. I don't know why it's not letting me come on camera. So yeah, camera's not acting right today, you guys. It's not allowing my camera to come on for whatever reason. So I'm gonna have to just say goodbye this way. Yeah, I don't know why it's not allowing my camera. My camera isn't working. I was having some StreamYard issues, which is why it took me so long to come on. First, it wouldn't let me have any sound. Now it won't let me have any picture. So I'll see you guys on tomorrow. Until then, I offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. And I do have a couple of videos coming this week. One of them is an ASMR of me eating crab. So I'll see you guys. I'm out. Bye.